The Broncos will look for some revenge when they face the Seahawks on Sunday afternoon. Seattle is a 5-point home favorite over Denver, that according to Westgate Sportsbook. This information just out as well. The NFL and the NFLPA have officially agreed to a new drug policy, which means Wes Welker will be playing on Sunday. Stephen A. Smith, what do you expect in the Super Bowl rematch?
I expect another beatdown. That's what I expect. I've seen nothing from the Denver Broncos that tells me that they're going to be able to avenge what took place in the Super Bowl. They're going to be up in Seattle. That noise is going to be deafening. And on top of it all, the Seattle Seahawks are fresh off a loss to the San Diego Chargers. They've got attitude. They're a bit peeved at themselves and their lack of productivity this past Sunday. And I think they're going to take it out on the Denver Broncos. Now, obviously, the Denver Broncos have some weapons. I think Emmanuel Sanders is an upgrade from Eric Decker. I think Monty Ball, however, is a downgrade from Noshawn Moreno. I think you look at the Seattle Seahawks, you know what they're capable of doing defensively. Offensively, however, I definitely think they need to give the ball a beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. They're averaging about 157 yards per game, but this man only had 6 carries last week against San Diego. That is just pathetic. I don't know what the hell Pete Carroll and Pep Hamilton would think. I'm like, what's going on here? You simply can't have something like that happening. You have to make sure that if you're Pete Carroll, that Marshawn Lynch is getting the daggone football. He put the ball in his hands, let him run the football. But I just think that the noise, the environment, the confines, it'll be a bit too much for the Denver Broncos. I predict Seattle will win and win big in this game.
I completely and utterly agree with every word you just uttered. I cannot believe this spread is only in some places 4.5, and as Kerry said, up to 5 points. This should be a 10-point spread. This is, what are all your expressions you used about the Super Bowl? They got straight up punked.
Yeah.
Beat down, embarrassed.
And I must say, we just heard that sideline audio, which caught Richard Sherman yelling to his defensive mates over on the sideline late in the game. We're going to eat they Hawks. And they did. They ate it.
I don't know if I like your accent.
Well, I got to do Richard's Compton accent, right? Stephen A., I know it's a pretty graphic reference, but I think they effectively
did that.
Yeah, they figuratively ate Denver's hearts. Yep. And you said, what was your term? Snatched them right out of their chest.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I don't think Denver has quite psychologically recovered from that. I know they played in the preseason, and Denver did pretty well in that game, but this is going to be very different up in Seattle. It's a late afternoon start, at least in the East, but a usual start in Seattle. And here's my point. Despite what we saw happen in San Diego, I think Seattle is a little better than it was last year, because I think the offense is a lot better. I understand your Marshawn issues with Darrell Bevell and how they were handling that. I'm sure that will get corrected. And I think Percy Harvin in San Diego wound up in the doghouse because he fumbled a kickoff. But in their 3 touchdown drives in Seattle, it was just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Russell Wilson is playing at an extremely high level. Their play calling is at an extremely high level. Their creativity, Percy Harvin, even though he stepped out of bounds, which drove me nuts because I had San Diego in that game, but that 51-yard run it just took your breath away, which he's highly capable of doing. And then all of a sudden, Turbin got in the act and had a turbo drive, the middle drive, and then the last drive, San Diego had no chance. So my point is, look, what Phillip Rivers did to that defense was off the charts because he was under duress the whole day. He's bobbing and weaving and ducking and flipping it, little ducks up in the air that happened to hit perfectly to Antonio Gates. Phillip Rivers played an extraordinary game against an extraordinary defense, and I do not think Peyton, for all of his greatness, is built quite like that. So I think that they're going to have a really hard time, and Seattle's going to be in a bad mood for this game.
What do you mean built quite like that?
There's no question about it. Correction, by the way, I didn't mean Pep Hamilton. I meant Darrell Bevell.
That's okay.
Hold on one quick second.
I'm glad you called out Pep Hamilton because I did too
Hold on one
yesterday.
second, Stephen A. What do you mean built like that? Why is he not built like that?
Peyton can't move like – see, Phillip Rivers has some athletic ability they're talking about in the pocket where he was ducking under people and doing a little sidearm. That's not Peyton's game. Peyton needs just a little bit of time, and I'm sure they're going to shorten their routes, quicken their throws, but I think they will put pressure on Peyton. And Stephen A., that new upgraded Denver pass rush featuring what's that guy's name from
DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware. Don't be disrespectful.
W-H-E-R-E.
No, he was in Denver.
No, he's not. I haven't seen the pass rush that everybody thought we would see from both DeMarcus and Von Miller. I'm not sure about that.
I saw him applying some pressure the first 2 weeks of the season. DeMarcus Ware's in there. Skip, I wouldn't dismiss him like that. I really wouldn't.
I'm dismissing
I wouldn't
him.
do that. You know,
He's dismissed.
Listen.
You're out.
In the end, you're in Seattle. That noise, the kind of pressure that they're going to apply to Peyton Manning. To me, the only shot at this being a different outcome is if Monty Ball is something that we didn't think he was, and if Emmanuel Sanders really steps out and shows you what Eric Decker should have done last year.
Maybe.
I don't know if I'm going to see that in Seattle. If it were in Denver, it's different. But in Seattle, I just can't see it. I just can't see it.
I can't either. The only advantage Denver has, it's not a night game in Seattle. That's when they're really unbeatable.